Matt, very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mike.
Nice to see you. Your voice sounds a little bit sticky. Obviously, you've been at conference. I was told by many people up there different stories. One narrative was that it was a bit quiet. Not so many businesses were there as there would normally be. Not so many members as there would normally be. Others have said to me, you know, the young people up there were quite enthusiastic. What was your experience of it all?
We go to these conferences and the press wanted to tell one story and they wanted to find some quiet room somewhere at some point when there was several events going on. The reality is thousands of people went, hundreds of businesses went. There was a disproportionate a group of young people there, a huge crowd of youngsters who were having a whale of a time, who wanted to get stuck in and who wanted to see a Conservative government and see what we had to offer.
Yeah, and what have you got to offer?
Well, I think it's been a hell of a week for the Conservative Party. You know what? We got that grubbing last year at the general election. Times have been tough. And what did Kemi say? She said she was going to go away, listen to what's been said, do the detail, and come back with a plan. And that's exactly what she's done. That plan for stronger borders, stronger economy, stamp duty. That stamp duty announcement is actually fantastic for our economy. The thing with stamp duty is it affects the efficiency of the housing market, it affects the efficiency of the labour market, and the IFS is the biggest drag on economic growth. It means that if you've had kids, you need a slightly bigger house, you can go on and do it now without paying thousands and thousands of pounds more. The same if you get a job and you want to move, you want to aspire to do something else that requires you to move house. It's a thing that just holds people back. Actually, we're unleashing that. We're going to give people the freedom. You already get slammed with council tax when you get a slightly bigger house anyway. Why the hell should the state grab thousands of pounds more from you? Really positive news, but it wasn't the only announcement this week. We said we're going to put 10,000 more police on the streets. We said we're going to treble the number of stop and searches that are undertaken. We said that we are going to, axe business rates for small businesses on high streets under £100,000 rentable value. We're going to save the high street, we're going to save the Great British Pub. Lots and lots of positive news coming out. We said we're going to double the number of high-level apprenticeships. Huge amount of stuff come out of the Conservative Party conference, real policy base. Looking forward to getting stuck in, looking forward to taking that pitch to the British people.
Yeah, but you're taking that pitch to the British people, but you can't really go anywhere with it, can you? Because at the end of the day, it's the best bill in the world. Even though I would like to see a general election coming up very soon, you're not going to probably see one for quite some time. And so by the time you even get there, Kemi Badenoch might not even be the leader.
I think that for all the talk this week, I think Kemi did an absolutely cracking job. I think you saw Party United. Of course, the press will want to find the people who might say something or might have there's a line wanted from the press, but the reality is people came together. And the other thing about the Conservatives is not only have we got a leader who's firing on all cylinders, we've got a great team of individuals. There are other parties who might be a one-man band. There are other parties who don't do the detail. This week, we did the detail, and there's one big difference between our party and all the other parties. They tell you what they're going to spend, they tell you all the wonderful things they can give you, but they never tell you how they're going to pay for it. We've said that we are going to save £47 billion. We've said that we're going to do that by reforming welfare, by removing benefits from foreigners, by making sure the only people who get mobility cars are people who actually need them. We've said that we are going to slash the size of the civil service, which grew under the pandemic by a third and has never really gone back in the box. Real sensible reductions in public spending. But not only are we going to reduce spending, we are going to make sure that half of that spending, half of those reductions, for every pound we save, half of it is going to be spent paying down the national debt. We know the damage that Labour are doing to our economy with their jobs tax, by slashing business rates relief for small businesses, with this wacky red tape monster that is the Employment Rights Bill. It means that businesses are closing at the fastest rate since the world economic crash. It means 14% more people are unemployed, out of work, unable to provide for their families. There's a real plan there. It's costed. We're going to save this economy and sort it out when Labour are finished.
All right. Well, let me pick you up on one thing, right? You said the party's united, right? As soon as Kemi Badenoch said she was going to leave the ECHR, which when I interviewed her just before she wanted to become leader of the party, she wasn't sure about. She now is sure about it. That's fine. Half of the Tory Party wets came out and said, oh, we don't want to do that. That's absolutely not for us. That's not the sort of thing we should be doing. So the party's not united around leaving the ECHR, never mind anything else, is it?
The party is very, you know what, this is a big issue, huge issue that we need to hit head on.
Yeah, but you don't agree, but nobody agrees about it.
Kemi has said if people don't sign up to this agenda, if they don't get on board with trying to solve this huge challenge that we've got, then they will not be able to stand as Conservative candidates in the election. Kemi set out a direction.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like an agreement. It doesn't sound like you're all agreed, though, does it? No, that's my point.
The vast, I'm sure you'd be able to find a voice of dissent to it. The reality is our parliamentary party went away, they've heard what was on offer, they're going to get stuck in, they're going to get stuck behind Kemi and get this thing delivered. We need to do it because this country needs the Conservatives to come and sort the economic mess that has been unleashed by that Labour Party.
Well, yeah, you say that. Listen, Matt, I've got great confidence in you personally, and I think you're a very decent guy and a decent politician. However, you had no point in saying the party's united around anything if you can't decide on whether you should leave the ECHR or not. You can't just go, well, we're united because we say we are. Hang on, we say we are, and if you don't like it, you're banned from being an MP.
We have agreed the Conservative Party will leave the ECHR. There's a document there, 200 pages of legal advice. We haven't just tweeted about it or done some press conference. We've done the detail, we've done the work. The guys in there are signed up to it. They're going to back it. It's going to happen. I'm sure you can find some former MP or some councillor somewhere who disagrees with it. That is what the Conservative Party is going to do. We're going to leave the ECHR. We're going to strengthen our borders. We're going to get control of our economy and fix that broken economy so people can get jobs, they can get on with life, and then, you know, they're not being taxed to death to pay for people who won't go to work. It's the right way forward.
Okay.
He's going to deliver
and
it.
don't forget, though, that the people who are now currently sitting at home watching this programme, unemployed, because they want to be unemployed, they don't want to work, they did that under the Conservative government. The Conservative government allowed them to take time off and not go to work at all. There are people who haven't ever worked in this country, and many of them became of age to work during the Tory government in the last 14 years. You've also said, you know, the civil service grew during the pandemic. It didn't just grow. People were appointed to the civil service by the Tory government, and that's why there's more people now there than ever.
However bad unemployment was, it's significantly worse since Labour came to power. The number of people signing on in sickness and incapacity benefit is 3,000 a day. It's gone up by 50%. These lot have only been in office, what, 18 months? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's off the charts. It's 10 times worse than it was. It's getting significantly worse. And the reality is, when the civil service grew, it was largely as a result of the pandemic. The pandemic created all sorts of bizarre work. It grew by a third. It's now time to take that third back off. They're not a third more efficient. It doesn't have the challenges of the pandemic. It's the right thing to do. Kemi wasn't the leader. I wasn't a minister. This is our plan. This is what we're going to deliver.
OK. What's your view of net zero?
Well, Kemi's made it very clear. We think net zero at all cost is a mistake. The reality is, are there opportunities in emerging green technologies? Of course there are. There are jobs we can get in there. Of course we should seek to be cleaner and greener when we can. But you can't do that at the cost of people who are struggling to make ends meet.
But will you do away with any? But will you do away with any net zero targets then?
We've said the climate change bill should be repealed. We've said that the legislation that was put in place is a mistake. This ridiculous eco-zealotry of Ed Miliband, who is completely obsessed with nutty green stuff.
Well, so was Boris Johnson. But hang on, so was Boris Johnson. The reason that there were net zero targets put in place was because Boris Johnson put them in place.
Kemi has said that we'll repeal that climate change bill.
So are you saying that you would?
Sensibly.
Are you saying then that you will repeal the idea that petrol and diesel cars will have to be done away with by 2030? Are you doing away with that?
We are repealing elements of the climate change, well, the climate change bill in its entirety. We need to go back to the drawing board on this, because the reality is, and it's not black and white, you can't just say, actually, everything should be green at all costs, or that we should not care about doing the green stuff.
Why not?
You need to do it, but you need to do it in a way that's affordable for people at home. You need to actually
what's the
take up the opportunity.
All right, so what's Tory policy on petrol and diesel cars then now?
Well, we'd already wired that back under Rishi, hadn't we? Because wasn't it 2030? We said 2035. You need to be able to get the infrastructure.
All right. So what's the policy now? Well, what's the policy now? Is it 2030? Is it 2040? What is it?
We've said that we'll repeal the climate change bill. We'll go back to the drawing board, and actually,
I don't know what that means.
We're just going to do the things that work for the people at home, that work in terms of cost. Well, you have a look at the climate change bill. We're repealing it and starting again.
Matt, it's a simple question. What's your policy on petrol and diesel cars? What's your policy on petrol and diesel cars?
Our policy on petrol and diesel cars hasn't changed at the conference, essentially. But what we're saying,
so you're still doing away with. So you're still doing away with petrol and diesel cars by what year?
No, we haven't said that at this conference. We said we'll repeal the climate change bill. Of course we want to see people using electric. Of course we want to see people who are more
Can you not just tell me
efficient,
what if I've got a petrol car?
white.
If I've got a petrol car, at what point does it become a petrol car that I can't drive? When can I not buy a petrol car? What year?
I'll tell you what. You can keep your petrol car. I'll give you that as a policy. You can keep your petrol car. That's a fact. We haven't said that we're banning or taking petrol or diesel cars.
No, but you're phasing them out, though.
We've said that we should try to stop people.
But at what point am I not going to be able to buy a new petrol car? At what year?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. There is incentives there in place.
Right.
But I don't know.
Okay. All right. Listen, Matt, good to see you.
We know that what I'm saying.
Go on.
Good to see you.
Carry on. Oh, he hasn't heard me.
Oh,
I think he's.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. No, tell me. Give me your final thought. Go on.
My final thoughts on green cars.
Yeah.
My final thoughts on green cars are that we should obviously encourage people to use the electric stuff, but it comes with its challenges. It comes with its challenges in terms of how far you can get and all those other things. The reality is that we need to do things in a sensible way. We need to let the private sector do some of the heavy lifting. If they think there are green, super duper cars that people should be driving that reduce emissions, that's a really good thing. But the reality is we can't do things that cost people shed loads of money.
Yeah.
People at home need to be able to make informed choices about when they want that electric car, when it's worth doing it for them, not about enforcing these things on people. Encourage positive technology, encourage people to be greener and cleaner, but do not batter people with extra costs.
Okay then. Matt, thank you very much indeed. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about my petrol car now. I'm not quite sure if I can buy a new one or not under the Tories. No idea. Anybody got a clue about what he meant there?